All right, one of the most talked about stories of the day. A local dining staple has closed its doors after more than 88 years. Many of you, no doubt, grew up eating there. The beloved restaurant chain K&W Cafeteria has announced the abrupt closure of all its locations.
The company made the announcement on its Facebook page this afternoon, stating all locations would close today, December 1st. This announcement comes just weeks before Christmas and a few hours before the big dinner rush. Fox 8's Justin Lundy joining us now live outside.
Okay, guys, welcome to the video. In the subject of this video, they're talking about the closure of K&W Cafeteria, who today will they permanently closed their all of their locations after 88 years in business. So it was abrupt, and they're saying it was right before the dinner rush and things like that. And I definitely remember eating at K&W during certain times, and at one point that was like kind of the thing to do, was to go and get you a plate at K&W and just to see what they have and stuff like that, buffet style, to where well, not necessarily buffet, but you could go and pack your plate with multiple different foods depending on what you like to eat. And so it's definitely interesting to see why they closed their business after 88 years. Could be, multiple factors such as the economy. There's more choices out now, and could be, a lot of different things. I'm gonna let the video play to get a little bit more information.
One of the locations near the Friendly Center in Greensboro. So, Justin, how are people reacting to this sudden announcement?
Well, a lot of people are devastated. And honestly, just a few minutes ago, one man walked up hoping to get a hot meal just to find out that the doors were locked, and this sign right here reading closed permanently, and all existing locations are closed effective December 1st. Now, in a statement, the company, which first opened its doors in Winston-Salem back in 1937, thanked the millions of customers who supported the business across several generations. The family-operated chain restaurant filed for bankruptcy back in 2020, and a few cafeterias closed in the Triangle area, including locations in Raleigh and Chapel Hill. But before today's announcement, the company still had locations operating in Greensboro, Winston-Salem, and Burlington. Now, early today, I did catch up with one family who drove from High Point to Greensboro with the hopes of getting a bite to eat, just to find out that their favorite restaurant was closed.
Ooh, baby, we've been ever since, I know since we've been married, this ever since 1989.
Okay. Good while.
And I've probably been, because of the one that was located in High Point, it was convenient for me.
Oh, yeah.
So I probably went there 20 years before it closed.
Yes, that's right.
And I used to come to K&W when I was in my teens. When I was 17, 18, was when I started coming.
Okay, so as you guys just heard, people from around this area have been going to K&W throughout their livelihood, because it's been open for 88 years. Convenient to go in and get a hot meal, and it was family owned and operated. And I didn't know that they had filed for bankruptcy back in 2020, which I feel like if you're out for bankruptcy and you're not able to, once you get certain debtors off of you and you're still not able to recover financially, this is kind of what happens. And we don't know what's the next step for them, as far as if they're going to go into a different industry or what have you. But they closed all their locations. Even after the bankruptcy, they were reporting that they closed several locations. They still have about three, one in Burlington, one in Winston, and one in Greensboro that were open. So this community is definitely going to feel the effects of that close down. I'm going to go to another video here to get the reaction from workers of this restaurant chain.
Like a shockwave across social media today, after 88 years serving generations of local families, K&W Cafeteria made the announcement that it has closed all of its locations.
The company shared the news on social media just this afternoon, and this goes into effect immediately. We have team coverage with WFMY News 2's Nixon Norman in Winston-Salem, where the chain was headquartered. But first, Hannah Hill joins us live in Greensboro after talking to workers and customers who got turned away.
So, Julie, as you know, this is truly a beloved restaurant here in the Triad. I actually remember the very first time that I came to this location over near Friendly. It was after a middle school choral concert, so you can just imagine my friends and all of us going through the line. And I'd have to say, I think the desserts were probably the hit of that event, but I'm far from the only one who has fond memories here. I spoke with one woman earlier today who just had to come down and lay eyes on the building, marking the end of its history. Everyone meets Susanna Albright. She pulled on the locked K&W door and then grabbed a quick photo, letting all of her loved ones know their normal eating spot is permanently closed. With tears in her eyes, she walks away from the restaurant she's been coming to since she was a kid. As she walked away, I was able to meet up with her, and she hoped to come down and buy one last shirt or mug to remember the beloved restaurant.
I stopped what I was doing and I drove to my beloved.
What are you going to miss most about it?
The lima beans, specifically, and the chocolate cream pie. My boyfriend will miss the fried chicken. And just, I don't know, they coming through the line, I see the same faces there forever, seeing the same people. It's the same lady that sat at the front forever, so just the consistency.
So Susanna actually had plans to come to this K&W tomorrow after seeing a movie with her family. Of course, that's not going to be happening. She said she worries for the workers who have been laid off, and I was able to speak to two of them earlier today who say out of nowhere they suddenly got a call that they were out of a job. You can hear from them coming up tonight at 6. Live in Greensboro, I'm Hannah Hill, WFMY.
Okay. And as she was saying, you know, she loved going to the K&W, and they were planning to go after they, you know, caught a quick movie, and you know, it was very affordable to go and eat at K&W and stuff like that. And just to learn that the workers didn't have a heads up beforehand so they could kind of get themselves prepared, you know, that's definitely a shame. And the company should have definitely done better, because they knew this was coming as far as what they were planning to do. And it seemed like they would have, you know, sent out some type of memo to the employees, letting them know, hey, you know, we're planning on closing on this date, and you know, you just prepare yourselves to, you know, be out of a job, and trying to get yourself prepared to, you know, get on the job market, get your resume together and stuff, or anything. You know, they just could have gave them at least a month or two notice so that they could have themselves prepared and ready for this day. But to, you know, be getting yourself prepared to come to work, or maybe even already at work, and you get there and then there's signs on the door that says they're permanently closed, that's inexcusable, and a pretty bad look for the company. Let's see if there's any because it said the workers' reaction, so I'm looking for the workers' reaction here.
News 2.
Hannah, thank you so much. Nixon, you met a manager of one location who's not happy about this news.
No, absolutely not. He actually described the feeling that he is feeling as sorrow, having to tell the employees who have dedicated years of their life here at K&W Cafeteria that they no longer have a job. Actually, since we've been here outside of the Haynes Mill Road location, we have had to break the news to well over 24 people that they are permanently closing. Many of them, it was a complete shock to them. I met one man who just ate here yesterday and says he's been doing so for 7 years every day after work. Another who says he just recently bought a gift card. The general manager tells me that this store, along with 8 other stores, have permanently closed. He says the news came down this morning so early that this location never even had a chance to open up today. Bobby Williams, a customer here, says he's been coming to this location every single day after work, like I just said, and I asked him what this place means to him most.
Means a lot, because I mean the prices are good, the food is good, and it's convenient. I stay close by, so yeah, it means a lot. And I feel sad for them because I talk to the ladies here every time. They joke with me. They so nice and everything. So I really feel bad for them. I think it's just wrong.
Yeah, I mean, of course it's wrong. Of course, they definitely have friendly staff and affordable prices and things like that. It was very, like, the location of these K&W cafeterias were convenient for a lot of people within the community. But, if they didn't have the funds to continue to do business operations, this is what happens. But the company could have did a lot better as far as notifying everyone that this was coming instead of abruptly closing like that. So that lets you know that they definitely was having some serious financial issues with their bottom line and the reason why they had to close. So, it was probably a lot under the rug that, people just didn't see on the surface. And yeah, it's definitely sad for everyone who was working there. And, they'll have to figure out, what their next steps are. And this is just another example of, you can give, you know, years and years to a company, expecting that to be like your, retirement plan, or, that'll be your final stop as far as working. And, things can abruptly change just like, in an instant. But, we'll see if there's going to be a lot of more information that's released. Is really, we just really want to know, what was the main reason for the closure, the permanent closure, and why they chose to do that. We really, really want to get down to the nuts and bolts of that. And once we figure that out, it'll make more sense to us. So again, if you like my content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. This is Justin Paul. Peace.